Man, ready to talk about some fights. We got some fights on a Wednesday.
I'm so excited, bro.
It's kind of weird. Got some early fights.
Yeah, I'm not used to having fights on Wednesday.
Yeah, especially in the morning. So it's gonna be interesting. We'll probably do our live show tomorrow. I'm interested to see how many people show up. I'm guessing a lot of people are gonna have to work and stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
Exactly.
What's up, Ronnie? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's just cool. I figured out how to put up the comments and stuff. So.
Yeah, no problem. We're gonna start at 7, by the way, guys. We just wanted to let the viewers kind of flood in a little bit.
What's up, Greg? Greg's a good guy, man. Contact me on Facebook. Says he's a big fan of the show, big fan of Pig Dog. So, what's up, Greg? It's good to see you here, man.
Greg actually Facebook messaged me or Facebook request me today. Shout out, Greg.
Yeah, Greg's a good dude. But let's start off. You want to talk about that Max Holloway performance when we get while we get people rolling in here?
Yeah. So I know you're a huge Max Holloway fan. How'd you feel about it, Brad?
I mean, god dang. It's that vintage Max Holloway, man. It was tough seeing his stock drop after those 2 Volkanovski losses. I still knew that Max Holloway was the man, though, and he showed it. Dominant performance. It looked like the same performance against Brian Ortega, and I'm nervous. I feel like one day he may take a man's life if he keeps that up. So, how about you? How'd you feel about it? What's up, Chase?
Yeah.
What's up, Sean?
When the announcers they start to talk about how tough Calvin Kattar is, that's when you start to know how bad of a beating he took, and I feel like that goes for every fighter. As soon as the analysts or broadcasters start talking about how tough someone is, it's usually bad for the tough guy. Calvin Kattar just took an absolute beating. Just why we have him in it, I might as well pull up the stats for anyone that didn't know. But Max Holloway had 744 most significant strikes attempted in a fight. He had 444 most significant strikes landed in a fight. He had 274, which was the most significant head strikes in a fight. And he had 117 most significant strikes in a fight.
Wow.
Those stats are crazy.
Absolutely insane. I mean, what a fun performance to watch, too. Like, just an absolute animal. This guy, Sean Harper, the boy Sean Harper, he said Conor McGregor scared of Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
Oh, God. Don't even get me started with that.
But you know what? We know what you guys are here for. You guys are here for the picks, so let's get into it. You know how we do it here at Pick Dogs. No square plays. We're here to give you guys value picks. We're not going to give you those minus 400 favorite picks like some of these other guys do. So let's get right into it. You want to start us off, Payne, with the first fight?
Yeah, so for the first fight, we have Victoria Leonardo versus Manon Fiorot at flyweight. Both these fighters are making their UFC debut. Victoria is coming in as a plus 160 underdog, and this is actually her first fight outside of the U.S. She won her way into the UFC on Dana White's Contender Series when she beat Chelsea Hackett, and Leonardo was really taking a beating in the first round, but she weathered the storm and was able to get the win. And then we have Manon. She's coming in at 5-1-0. She's the minus 200 favorite coming into this bout. She has a really karate style on the feet. She has really good front leg side kicks. She throws long combinations and keeps the range really well. Leonardo is good, but I think she's a step behind Manon in every facet. So I got to go Manon wins by decision or technical decision. What do you think, Brad?
Gotcha, yeah. So both these ladies coming off of knockout wins, so it shows they got power in the hands. I see this being a good stand-up war here. Out of Manon's 5 fights, 4 of them came from KOs. I think this is going to be a scrap, and both these ladies have a potential in the UFC. Even though they're both coming off knockout wins, have proven to show that they do have knockout power. I think this fight goes into a decision. I think it's a very competitive fight, but I'm going to take Manon via decision at plus 165. The next fight we got here, we got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Sergey Morozov at a bantamweight scrap here. Sergey, man, he's a scary man. He's got very good boxing, and the only way I think he wins this fight is if he catches Nurmagomedov and somehow puts him to sleep. But, we're talking about a Nurmagomedov guy. I think it's Khabib's cousin, I'm pretty sure, and it's hard to bet against anyone with the last name Nurmagomedov. So I'm going Nurmagomedov via decision. I think he's able to take him down all 3 rounds, pretty much keep him there every single round, and get the win via decision. What you got, Payne?
Yeah, so Morozov is entering this fight at 16-3-0. He's coming in as a plus 375 underdog. He's on a 5-fight winning streak right now, and he really has fought top-level competition. But his strongest aspect of his game is really how quick he is on the feet. And then we have Nurmagomedov, of course, 12-0-0. It's impossible to bet against him, but as a minus 550 favorite, there's no value there, and even as a parlay piece. So he's entering this fight, obviously, as undefeated. In his last few fights, he's been a tad bit uncomfortable on his feet, so he relies heavily on his grappling, which obviously isn't a surprise since his last name's Nurmagomedov. But basically in this fight, I just think they're going to Nurmagomedov is going to land the ground and pound throughout the fight. He's going to win by decision or technical decision.
Sounds good. Hey, Payne, I think try to turn your mic on. I think it's coming through your computer audio.
My bad, guys.
No worries. I'll get into the next fight while you figure that out. But this next fight we got here, we got a lightweight bout between Mike Davis and Mason Jones. I believe me and Payne actually watched Mike Davis win a title back in Panama Beach a couple years ago. Man, he's a scrapper. He definitely has some KO power. And then we got Mason Jones coming in from his for his UFC debut. He was a Cage Warriors double champ, so a lot of potential here. But we just don't know how he's going to match up against UFC talented guys. When we got Mike Davis, he's fought guys like Gilbert Burns. So this man has fought in way tougher competition than Mason Jones. Both these guys like to scrap, like to get a little dirty with it. So I'm going to take the under 2.5 rounds. I think we see someone go to sleep. I'm guessing Mason Jones goes to sleep here, but I don't see this lasting all 3 rounds. What you thinking?
Yeah, so Mike Davis is coming into this fight 8-2-0, and Brad, I don't know if you even remember this, but we've actually seen him fight twice live. We saw him in Fight Island in Panama City Beach, and we also saw him at UFC Tampa when he fought, I believe it was Thomas Guilford, and absolutely destroyed him via KO. I mean, I don't know if you remember that, but his last fight was 15 months ago, and that was against Gifford, and he was scheduled to fight in February and May of 2020, but both those fights fell through. Mike Davis is a savage, but I think he'll have some ring rust going into this fight. On the other hand, we have undefeated Mason Jones, who's 10-0-0. He's coming as a plus 135 underdog. Jones has been relatively active and has had 3 fights since October 2019. He's making his UFC debut, and he is actually the first fighter to hold 2 Cage Warrior titles at the same time since Conor McGregor. He's won his last 2 fights with a first-round knockout, and in my opinion, I think Mason Jones is more durable and more well-rounded. So my pick is I'm going with the underdog, Mason Jones, money line. And Brad, before we continue, is the mic any better?
Yes, it is. Could you turn your gain down a little? It's a little loud, but It is on, so that's good. But wow, you're going Mason Jones in this one. I could have sworn you would have went with Mike Jones, or Mike Davis, but we'll see.
I would have gone with Mike Davis, but I really do think that Mason Jones is going to be a significant threat to the lightweight division one day, and I think he's just going to be more durable. I think he's more of a well-rounded fighter, and Mike Davis struggles with stamina. As long as Mason Jones is able to live through that first round, I think he's going to take this fight, and I think he's going to dominate round 2 and 3.
Okay, we'll see. All right, want to get us in our next one?
Yeah. So in our next fight, we have bantamweight Jerome Rivera versus Francisco Figueroa. Jerome Rivera is entering this fight. It's 10-3-0 record and is coming in as the plus 130 underdog. Rivera lost his UFC debut on 7-day notice against Tyson Nom, but you can't put too much stock into that. Tyson's really had a good career after that win. He's received a contract from UFC when he defeated Luis Rodriguez on Dana White's Contender Series. He's really just relentless with his strikes, but he doesn't have the power behind the punch like Figueroa does. So basically, Rivera needs to get a win here after he lost his UFC debut, and I really think that that's going to come back to bite him. On the other hand, we got Figueroa, his little brother. He's 11-3-1. He's making his UFC debut. He fights well off his back, but he's also fairly hittable. So, in my decision, or in my opinion, I'm going to go with Jerome Rivera money line or by decision. I just think the dog is really going to come out, and I think based off of the competition level that Rivera's fought versus Figueroa, I think it's going to make the difference in this bout.
Yep. Yeah, so we got, I'm a huge Davison Figueroa fan. And a lot of the times, even if you're the sibling of a great fighter, it doesn't always translate to both guys. So I think those odds are kind of skewed because it is Figueroa's brother, honestly. When you look at Figueroa's past record, the promotion he was fighting in, didn't fight much tough guys. And the fact that you could get Jerome Rivera as an underdog, I think that's what you got to go with here. I'm gonna stay away from this fight, but I don't know. I have to see Figueroa's little bro fight before I pick him. So I'm gonna go Jerome Rivera money line as well at plus 130. Next we got Dolce versus Marcus Perez at middleweights. And when it comes to this, in my opinion, we got two average fighters here. They're solid all around, but nothing that's gonna blow you away here. Perez has a good jiu-jitsu game, and Dolce is decent all around and has some power in his hands. I think if Dolce could keep this fight standing up, which he's shown he has good takedown defense, has decent wrestling, I think he's able to win this fight. So I'm going to take my chances with Dolce winning this. His money line is at minus 135. Not great value, but that's the best pick in my opinion on this one. Take Dolce money line.
Yeah, Brad, I couldn't agree more. Marcus Perez 12-4-0. He's coming in as a plus 110 underdog. He's lost his last three wins have come by decision. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's lost his last three straight fights outside of Brazil. Dolce, on the other hand, he's making his 185-pound debut. He has been scheduled to fight 3 separate times in 2020, but all of his fights were unfortunately canceled. I think he's hungry. He's a knockout artist. He has insane knockout power and a devastating overhand right. But the one interesting thing I found about Dolce is that he's 4 inches shorter than Marcus Perez, but has a 3-inch reach advantage. So he's a fairly long fighter for his size. So once again, Brad, I couldn't agree more. I'm going to go Dolce money line or by KO, TKO, or DQ, whichever one you prefer.
Gotcha. All right, what we got next, babe?
We actually have a question in the chat. What in the world is a technical decision? Would you like to explain that, Brad?
Technical decisions is it the same thing as a regular decision? I'm guessing.
No, it's basically like if you got like a nut shot or an eye poke and the fight ended doctor stoppage, that's technically a technical decision.
Really? I thought that'd be a DQ, but I don't know. Maybe we have to check up on that.
Yeah, we'll check in on.
Yeah, we should probably know that, but hey, we're still learning here. But what we got next?
Yeah, so in the next fight, we've got Matajiri versus Zakaru at the flyweight division. So Su's coming into this fight 13-4-0. He's coming in as a minus 490 favorite. He's currently on a 2-fight winning streak, and he's one of the better prospects in the division. In his last fight, he dusted Malcolm Gordon in the first round. I mean, absolutely destroyed him. He is taking this fight on short notice, so hopefully he's in good shape and hasn't underestimated Avashav. But then we have Zurukaj Adashev. He's coming in with a 3-2-0 record as a plus 365 dog. Adashev has a 16-3 record in kickboxing. In his last bout, he was knocked out in the first round by Tyson Nom. But once again, it's important to note that he took that fight on short notice. This fight should entirely be stand-up, but I think Matajiri is a more well-rounded fighter. So I'm going to go Matajiri inside the distance. And I think that this might be parlay material as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the one who had to pronounce those names. Thanks for taking one for the team right there. But yeah, so this guy Adashev, 3-2 as an MMA fighter. I mean, it's a rough card when we got guys that are 3-2 fighting. I don't know. Like personally, I think a guy 3-2 shouldn't be in the UFC, but Dana's gonna do what he has to do. But the Su's definitely gonna win this fight. I like him by KO, but for KO, it's a minus 155, so no value there. Like I said, the odds makers, they made it tough to bet on this fight because I think Su absolutely dominates this guy, but and honestly KOs him, but I can't bet that 155. So I'm gonna take him by decision at plus 355. It's a tough pick because honestly I think this guy does get slept by Su, but I think that's where the value's at, hoping that this lasts all 3 rounds and somehow this guy stays up the whole fight. So my pick's going to be Su by decision at plus 355, which I mean that's some 3-1 odds. That's some good value right there. So that's what I'm going with. Next we got Ricky Simon versus Polero, something like that. It's his UFC debut. And Ricky Simon, man, he was a guy people were high on. I thought he was going to be, someone that, could contend for a title or, start fighting top 5 guys. And then he took that loss to Uriah Faber and his stock absolutely dropped. He's fought some good guys though, and Perello has too. Very good kickboxer, but I had to go with the more experienced guy here, the guy who's fought better guys. And Perello in his UFC debut, fighting a guy like Ricky Simón with all the experience in the world. I think it's going to be a tough fight. So give me Ricky Simón via decision at plus 135.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more, Brad. I have Simón is coming in this fight 16-3-0. He's a minus 460 favorite. He won his last fight against Ray Borg, and Ray Borg has really proven that he's a tough contender in the bantamweight division. Before his last fight, though, which was a win against Ray Borg, he was on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost from both Rob Font and Uriah Faber. Of course, those are really class act fighters and really good fighters, so you can't put too much stock into that. Simon has relentless power, and he averages a takedown every 2 minutes and 16 seconds. And Simon has gone to decision in the last 4 of his last 6 fights. And then we had Perello. He's coming in this fight 15-5-1 as a plus 335 dog. Perello is making his UFC debut, and he is on a 2-fight winning streak. He does have 14 KOs and 15 wins, but I really think Simón will dominate this fight, and I really do think that the wrestling from Simón will be the difference in this bout. So I have Ricky Simón by decision or technical decision.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm excited for that scrap. I'm excited to see what this guy Perello has. Heard good things about him, but we'll see how he matches up against a tough guy in Ricky Simón. Next, we got Akhmedov versus Tom Breezy. Omar Akhmedov coming off that ugly loss against Chris Weidman. I thought he was going to win that fight personally, but, Weidman showed his, veteran abilities and got the win. And Tom Breezy's coming off a big win as well. I see Omar Akhmedov, just trying to take this fight to the ground. And overall, I think we see a lot of grappling here. So I'm saying this fight goes to decision at minus 135. Don't love the odds, but I think that's the best case scenario we got here.
Yeah, Akhmedov is entering this fight 25-1. He lost his last fight against Chris Weidman, which Brad just mentioned, and before his last loss, he was on a 5-fight winning streak. He's gone to decision though in his last 7 fights, so I'm definitely leaning towards the decision here. And then Tom Breeze is coming into this fight 12-2-0 as a minus 150 favorite. Breeze does have a significant striking advantage. He won his last fight against KB Bueller via KO in the first round. Before his last win, he was on a 2-fight losing streak. But I did find this interesting stat: 6 out of 8 of Breeze's last 8 wins have come in round 1. So I think Akhmedov is a better wrestler, and if he's smart, he'll keep this fight on the ground throughout the entire fight. So my pick is Akhmedov money line, or you could go Omari Akhmedov by decision.
I like it.
And then we'll jump to the main card, Brad, real quick.
Let's do it.
So to open up the main card, we have Jerome Murphy versus Douglas Silva, the featherweight division. Jerome Murphy's entering this fight 9-0-1 as a minus 305 favorite. Murphy is undefeated, and he's entering this bout with a perfect 9-0. He won his last fight against Ricardo Ramos, who really the UFC has been trying to push really hard, and it just, Murphy dominated him throughout that fight. Then we have Douglas Silva. He's coming in this fight 26-3-0 at plus 245 dog. He's been out for over 14 months, and in his last fight, he won against Renan Barao. Sorry, I always have trouble with that name.
Renan Barao.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
His last win, he lost to Peter Yan, but, you can't put too much stock into that loss because Yan's the current bantamweight champ. He also has his 5-inch reach advantage and probably is the more well-rounded fighter. So I'm going to go with Murphy inside the distance.
Sounds good. That hidden Barao pronunciation cracked me up, man. I
always have trouble with
I had to hold my laughter back on that one. But yeah, so we got Douglas Silva, like you said, has beat some really good guys. Chito Vera fought Hidden Barao, lost against the champ Yan, has fought Rob Font. So this man has fought the who's who. He's definitely the gatekeeper in this division. If you want to get into the top of this division, you got to beat Douglas Silva. And then this English fighter, man, Jerome Murphy, coming off a KO win. I don't know. This is a tough one for me. It's hard for me to do this. I think there is a lot of hope for this guy, Jerome Murphy, but I'm going to go with the veteran here and take Douglas Silva at plus 255. It's a tough pick because, like I said, this guy, Jerome Murphy, does have a lot of potential, but I think the value here is with going with the underdog here. So give me Douglas Silva at plus 255. And next we got Tyson Nom versus Matthew Schnell. Tyson Nom, he's hot right now, man. He's coming off 2 KO wins. Schnell's coming off a KO loss. One guy has all the momentum in the world, and another guy's just trying to get his momentum back. I've watched those Tyson Nom knockouts. They're beautiful. This guy has great striking, but, Matt Schnell has a great ground game, and I think the only problem with him is, sometimes he gets into these firefights and just tries to throw hands rather than sticking to this game and putting these guys down. So I think he learned from his mistakes in this fight. He's able to take Tyson Nom down, avoid some of these, flurries from Tyson, and gets the win. So I'm going to go with the underdog here, taking Matt Schnell money line plus 105.
Yeah, and Tyson Nom is entering this fight as a 20-11-0 record, as a slight minus 125 favorite. Tyson is on a 2-fight winning streak. He won against Jerome, Rivera, and Avashav, who actually are both on this card. 5 of his last 6 wins have come by KO. And one interesting stat that I found is that he's lost all of his last 3 fights outside of the U.S. So is that going to have an effect on his performance here? Who knows? And then we have Matthew Schnell. He's coming in at 14-5-0 as a slight underdog. Schnell lost his last fight, but before his last loss, he was on a 4-fight winning streak and has notable wins over Jordan Espinoza and Louis Smolka. 12 of Schnell's last wins, or 12 of Schnell's last fights have ended in round 1. So I'm going to go Matt Schnell by decision, but I think the best recommendation I can give is to just stay away from this fight. It's a coin flip, it's a pick 'em. It's scary, but if I had to pick, I would go Matt Schnell by decision.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Next, we got a fun little female fight here. I'm always a big fan when Roxanne Modafferi fights, and she's going against. This is going to be a tough pronunciation for me, but Viviane Araujo. Is that how you would say it, Payne?
I believe so.
All right, I'm just going to call her Viviane. But we got a flyweight bout here. Roxanne Modafferi, she's a veteran, and Viviane, she's coming up in the game. A lot of people have high hopes for her, and I'm a big Roxanne fan. She's so goofy, very odd human, but man, she's got some skills, and she thrives as an underdog. Just look at the fight she had with Macy Barber. So I'm going with another underdog here. I'm going with the veterans of these fights. Dana White matched up a lot of up and coming guys with gatekeepers and veterans here. And I'm leaning toward the veterans. Give me Roxanne Modafferi at plus 270.
Or in money line, correct?
Yep.
Perfect. So Roxanne's entering this fight 25-17-0. She's a plus 255 underdog. She lost her last fight against Danielle Kelly. Previous to that loss, she has notable wins against Macy Barber and Andrea Lee. And I'm almost positive she was like a plus 625 dog going into the Macy Barber fight. And Barber was a minus 900 favorite or something along that line. But she's gone to decision in her last 6 fights, and she's never been finished as a flyweight. And then we have Viviane Araujo. She's coming in as a minus 315 favorite. But what concerns me is that Roxanne's been known to upset. And as Brad mentioned, the UFC has been throwing a lot of the gatekeepers into this card, and they're really trying to test these up-and-coming prospects and contenders for future contenders. And Roxanne, she's just scary, man, and you can't bet against her as a dog. And if you're getting plus money with Roxanne, I take it every time, unless she's fighting, of course, Valentina Shevchenko or something along that line.
That'd be bad.
But yeah, it would be really bad. So I got to go with Roxanne money line, just like Brad did. You could also say Roxanne by decision because, like I mentioned, the last 6 of her fights have gone to decision. So I'm going to take Roxanne money line or by decision.
I feel
whichever
that.
one you feel more comfortable with.
Damn, we both got Roxanne. I'm excited for that one. I hope she pulls it off. Shout out Isaac Walker. That's a good dude right there. But all right, next we got the co-main event. This one's tough. Wallery Alvarez versus, let's see, Monero Lizez. I'm terrible with these pronunciations. Something you guys are gonna have to get used to. But yeah, so we got a welterweight fight here, and this is a fun fight we got here. Lizaz is an up-and-coming guy. A lot of people have their eye on going against the tough Season 3 winner in Wally Alvarez. Wallery has a lot more experience and has even beaten guys like Colby Covington, but I don't think he has enough in his toolbox to beat the young lion in Lizaz. Wallery's a guy who's very inconsistent, so we don't know what we're gonna get from him. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes it's just like, what's this guy doing? So I'm gonna go with Lizaz. I think this is a decision. I think the veteran Wallery is able to take some of the heat from Lizaz, and he's a veteran, so I think he stays in there, and I don't see him getting finished. So give me a Lizaz via decision at plus 230. I think that's some good value there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take Lizaz too, but I'm actually gonna take the opposite. I'm gonna go inside the distance. He's currently on a 3-fight win streak. He won his UFC debut against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He's never been finished. He's 7-0 fighting out of Abu Dhabi, which fighting out of Abu Dhabi makes the travel adjustments a lot easier. And I really just think he should easily win this fight. So I'm going to take Lizaz inside the distance.
You think he finishes him?
I think so.
Yeah, it could happen. That Lizaz guy, I was watching some highlights, and yeah, he's nice with it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I watched about 7 or 8 of his fights, and
really,
I see it coming.
Yeah.
Finish. Yeah.
I'm pumped for that one.
Then, I'll go ahead and open this up with the main event. So we got Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa at welterweight. Michael Chiesa is entering this bout with a 16-4-0 record as the plus 110 dog. Chiesa is a southpaw pressure fighter. Basically, he's on a 3-fight win streak. He has notable wins against RDA, Diego Sanchez, and Carlos Condit. All 11 of his finishes have come by submission, though. And Chiesa has a significant grappling and wrestling advantage over Magny. But then we got Neil Magny. He's coming as a minus 140 favorite. Magny has historically had poor takedown defense, which is kind of concerning a little bit against Chiesa. But I think he has a significant striking advantage, and as long as he can stay off his back, I think he's going to outclass Chiesa on the feet. So I'm going to go Magny by decision or technical decision.
Gotcha. Couldn't disagree with you more on this one, honestly. I'm a big Chiesa guy. I think a lot of people sleep on him. Even though both these guys are hot right now, coming off both are on 3-fight winning streaks. And like I said, I personally think Chiesa is the dark horse in the welterweight division. I think his grappling is unique. I think it's super high level. And, Magny, his strengths are his stamina, his volume, kind of like a Max Holloway type guy. He just doesn't go away. He always has that pressure on you. But, you can't bring that pressure when you're on the ground, and that's what I think Chiesa does here. I think he's able to take Magny down with ease and keep him there. If I were making these odds, I think Chiesa should be like a minus 150 favorite. You guys may think I'm crazy for that, but I'm super high on my Chiesa. So give me Chiesa money line. We don't have premium packages yet, but if we did, this would definitely be a premium pick for me. I love Chiesa in this fight. I think he dominates this fight, wins all 5 rounds on the ground. So give me Chiesa money line, plus 125.
Yeah, I was leaning that way, but Magny's just one of those guys that I've lost too much against, so
yeah,
can't go the other way, but I understand the argument. I do agree that Chiesa shouldn't be in plus money, though. It should be a pick'em at best.
I think it should be a pick'em, yeah. I think there's a lot of value on Chiesa here, so I'm telling you guys, take it to the bank. Take Chiesa. Yeah. Don't listen to this guy Payne.
100% going decision.
Okay. Heck yeah, man. Well, that's the card. Like I said, it's a morning card. A lot of people are probably gonna be working. I'm working, but I'm gonna take an hour off and do this. We're gonna do a live show in between the prelims and the main card. So check in on that. I hope we see some fun fights, and I think we will. These cards where there's not many big names. There's a lot of guys who are low radar guys. Those are some of the cards that have the best performances. So I'm excited.
Fighters have a lot to prove. They've been hearing all week on social media, on every outlet, every interview. That we're not really looking forward to this fight that much, and sometimes those are the fight cards that shine the most. So Brad and I are really looking forward to it, of course, and I think that the card on Saturday is kind of overshadowing this event. Everyone's so excited for the McGregor-Dustin Poirier fight on Saturday, and if that card is stacked as hell too. So it's kind of hard to get excited about this card when that's so close, but fights are fights. They're at 9 a.m. tomorrow Eastern Standard Time, I believe, on ESPN Plus. Smash that like button, guys, please. It helps us out greatly. Go ahead and follow Instagram at PickDogs. Helps us out again. You guys can stay updated with when we go live. Stay updated just like with more of like the general site, and rather than just the MMA message. And Brad, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back Thursday for our predictions for the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys again.